do you think they need to make a trade? I think that we're going to agree and say, yes, they need to go add something clearly to this team. But if you told me they could make one trade, a realistic trade, an actual realistic trade, and only one, which one would you do? I would trade for Kirk Cousins right now. Right now, I would go get Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, I would.
Yeah.
I believe Kirk Cousins with this team gives us a better chance to win a Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins right now at this moment is better than Brock Purdy. He just is.
I have to agree. Now, I don't think that's going to happen at all. I don't think he's going to backtrack on Brock Purdy that quickly. But if they went and got Kirk Cousins, I believe they would have a much better chance of winning the Super Bowl. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's going to happen. But if I had to could do
I say
whatever I want.
from the standpoint that this player might actually be available, and
Mm.
if the right assets are given up, you could go make it happen. I'm not saying he gets traded, but realistically, if one team came calling to Kirk, he would probably waive that no trade clause. And knowing that he's not going to be there going forward, slim chance that happens, Minnesota would be willing to deal him, I would imagine.
Right.
So I think that it's an actual possibility, not likely, but it could actually get done. I believe that it could get done.
I don't think Kyle's out on Brock yet. Now, if it continues to go the way it's going, then he might be, but I don't think he's going to know that in time for the trade deadline. So that's why I don't think it's going to happen. I think Kyle's going to be pretty bought in. He's still bought into Brock, and he's going to be very hesitant to back off of that after everything he said. I mean, he's the franchise quarterback. He's the real deal. He's like all this stuff. For him to just back out by week 8, like, oh, no, let's go get Kirk. I'd be really surprised if he did that. I don't think that's going to happen. But you're right. I feel like Kirk Cousins in this offense would be – I mean, who the hell was he passing to last night? Like what receivers was Kirk Cousins throwing to last night? Can you imagine?
When Addison went out, it was like a who's who.
Who the hell is this guy? And he was still doing his thing. Can you imagine him on the 49ers offense? He would be ridiculous. I just think that's true. Now, I think Brock's going to, they're going to give Brock the rest of the year, obviously, and maybe he'll bounce back and be fantastic and win the damn Super Bowl for the 49ers. We'll see. But if he struggles like he's doing right now, more often than not, I think Kirk Cousins is definitely in play for next year.
Yeah, I definitely think that door is open back up.
Yeah.
I mean, you got technically one more game to assess it. If Brock Purdy bounces back, great. But if he struggles again this week, and you got 2 days till the trade deadline, I mean, you're probably picking up that phone and like just seeing, is it possible? Like, is this guy available? Can we make it happen? I think you would have to.
If he has a Browns type performance, yeah, you might be right. Or maybe it's Sam Darnold time. Maybe he's the next Steve Young, right? We got the next Joe Montana and the next Steve Young on the same roster, so maybe it's time to move on to Steve Young already. I don't know.
I can't stomach Sam Darnold.
Brock Purdy's going to be fine, I think, man. I think he'll bounce back and be fine.
I hope you're right. I think you're probably right again. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. But okay, let's remove Kirk Cousins from this situation. Do the 49ers have to make a trade? I mean, I think they do, right? Like, and I'm not saying name a player or give me whatever, but we're a week away from the trade deadline at this point.
Yes.
This team, as it's constructed, it's not it. It's just not going to be it, especially because the Eagles went out and got a stud safety, one of the best safeties in the league just a couple of days ago. And talk about peaking at the right time. I mean, now they're starting to ascend. Like, they got their loss, and unlike the 49ers, that set them straight. And then they beat a high-flying offense, held them down, played the best defensive game that they've played all season long, really. Hurts did his thing. They won in the trenches. They did everything that they needed to go win that game. That's what we expected from the 49ers, was once they got their wake-up call against the Browns, that they would also bounce back, and they didn't do it. The Eagles right now are very, very good team, and they just added to their team. The 49ers have to make a trade, right?
Here's the thing, Jess. So that, to me, they definitely need defensive back help. They need that.
I agree.
What they really need, it's too late. They're not going to get. What they really need is a stacked offensive line if they want to compete with teams like the Eagles. And they're not going to be able to get that. I mean, you could try, but it's very hard, especially in Kyle's offense, to insert offensive linemen, to insert a right tackle at this point in the season. So I don't think they can do that. I don't think it's very realistic. I think the problem is the way they've approached the team building from the get-go. They're going to get outmatched in the trenches when they face a team like the Eagles. And that's the problem. And I don't think you can do that through trade at this point in the season. Now, go get a corner. That's going to make you guys better. I feel like they probably will do that. I would be surprised if they don't do that. I think they're going to do that. But I think the real problem is going to be this offensive line. It's just not built like it's needed to be built, right? The Eagles' offensive line looks like Harbaugh's offensive line back in 2012 right now. That's what they need, right? The Lions' offensive line looks like Harbaugh's offensive line back in the day. That's what the 49ers need. That's what they've been needing. That's what we've been screaming from the top of our lungs. And Kyle just doesn't believe that that's what they need. They focus on other things, and that's the problem. And ultimately, if they don't go all the way this year, that's going to be the reason why.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right about that. Jero Mari says, I'm a Lions fan, and I can tell you the 49ers will definitely be all right. It's only 2 losses. Yeah, here's the thing. And this is what I get it from a Lions fan perspective. Like, you guys are just like, making the playoffs right now would be awesome for y'all. And you guys just got your tail handed to you by the Ravens yesterday. I wouldn't panic if I was a Lions fan. I think the Lions fans are likely going to win that division still and make the playoffs. The 49ers are going to be fine in the sense that they make the playoffs, but these games are what has always kept the 49ers from getting the number 1 seed the last couple of years. The reason the 49ers go on the road to play the Rams and go on the road to play the Eagles in an NFC championship is because of stupid games early in a season that you shouldn't have lost. The Browns was one thing. You're traveling to the East Coast. You got a tough team. The weather wasn't great. You had some injuries mid-game. I get it. Things happen. But now that's your wake-up call. The next game you follow it up against the Vikings, those are the games. Those are the Falcons from a couple years ago. Those are, the Falcons last year again. Those are the Denver, the Chicagos, like those games that you just cannot lose. You can't stomach to lose, that stop you ultimately from getting the number 1 seed. These are the games that you look back on and go, man, if they just would have beat the Vikings, they would have been the number 1 seed. Now, maybe they still get there, but I will say I don't feel great. This is the first time I think I'm going to pick against the 49ers all year, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not picking them to beat the Bengals, not after 2 straight losses. Like, as great as it started, and I said, I got to see the 49ers lose before I pick against them. Now I'm going the other way. I got to see them win again before I'm confident that they can actually get that done. So let me see them win again before I pick them, because it's not like they're playing slouch teams coming up. They've got the Bengals, who are coming off of a bye week, who are ascending. The 49ers are on the decline a bit, and they're limping into a bye week. And then they come out of the bye week and they got to play Jacksonville, who's another team that's on the rise. So they've got to show me that they can now beat a good team. I still think the Bengals, I get the Bengals are 3-3. I still think they're a good team. When everything's going right, they're a good team. They're a good offense at the very least. Burrow
coming off a
starting
bye
to get
week,
healthy the last couple weeks, coming off a bye week. I expect that we're going to get the Bengals' best shot. So if they beat the Bengals, I'll feel much better going into the bye week. But if they lose to the Bengals,
wow. Here's the thing, Jeff. In regards to this comment, as a Lions fan, you can tell us we're going to be all right. Well, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Our goal is not what the Lions' goal is, right? The Lion, as a Lion fan, you got to be on top of the world right now because you guys are playing better than you have in decades. You're headed to the playoffs, most likely. That's not what that's not the standard for me, at least as a 49er fan. I don't want to be all right. I want to win a 6th Lombardi, and right now it's not feeling like that's what's going to happen this year. Hopefully that changes, but I don't care about making the playoffs. That should be the standard. We expect to make the playoffs every damn year. What I want to do is win a 6th Lombardi, win a Super Bowl, and that's why all of these things we're talking about are so concerning.
Well, and I'll say this: your standards change as you get levels into this. So Jeremiah may look at it and say, okay, let's say that the Lions make it to the playoffs. They win week 1 in the wild card, and then they lose in the divisional round to the 49ers or the Eagles or what have you. Okay, you're still going to look back on the season and be happy. But if next year the same thing happens, all of a sudden the just the year before making it to the divisional round and losing, you were happy. You do that again next year, all of a sudden you're not happy. You expect to progress. The 49ers are in that same situation where they've been in an NFC championship now 2 straight years and have lost. The expectation is progression. They've got to bare minimum make a Super Bowl for us to even start feeling decent about it. And then if they're there, it's like, well, come on. The 49ers, when they make Super Bowls, they win them. The last 2 they haven't. We can't lose a third one in a row. So that's where the things change. Your expectations change as the team progresses. And so, this year divisional round is great as a Lions fan. Next year it won't be. So that's where we're at with it.
Yeah, and I agree, man. This and again, everything we're saying right now, this is based on what happens in week 7 and so far. Really, teams just need to get hot in the playoffs, and they can, 49ers could bounce back and be hot as hell in the playoffs and win the damn Super Bowl for all we know. That could still happen this season. We're just responding to what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's a week-to-week league.